Simula na ng edu-viewing habit ng pamilyang Pilipino. Ako po ang inyong kapuso, Mary Joy Gungob. Samahan niyo po kaming lumipad kasama ang aming team. Di umano, ito ang kwento na tiyak na mapapasabi kayo ng STS na yan. Hello mga ka-environmentalista, and welcome to tonight's special report on climate change. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC, an international authority on climate science, has just released a powerful new report. And it has an urgent message for all of us. The world climate change has been changed significantly over the past century, and the IPCC is sounding the alarm. Humans are a major part of the change. If we don't act now, the global temperature could rise by 1 to 3.5 degrees Celsius by the year 2100.
We're at a tipping point. Climate change isn't just warmer weather. Its entire ecosystem on the brink of collapse. They are but not fast enough. We're still emitting more carbon than the Earth can handle. The window to act is closing. Demand change from those in power. Shift our own behaviors and educate others. This is our future. We can't walk away from it.
But environmentalists, why should we concerned about the few degrees of warming? So climate change experts say that these changes could transform life on Earth more than anything else, maybe even more than a nuclear war. Our air, our water, our land, and every part of life on Earth could be affected. But first, let us dive into the big question. What exactly is climate change? So the climate change is the long-term shift in weather patterns, which can result from natural processes or from our own actions. So tonight, we will look at what causes climate change, how human activities play a vital role, and more importantly, what these changes mean for all of us. So environmentalists, let us take a closer look, because this is not just a global issue, it is a personal one, and we are all in that together.
Hey Norlites! My name is Jasper.
And I'm Shaina.
And today, we'll be making a fun little experiment. But before we start, since we are talking about climate change, what do you think causes climate change? How about you, Shaina? What causes climate change?
Actually, there are two factors that causes climate change. First is the natural causes and the human activities. But right now, let's focus first on the natural causes, which are
Volcanic eruptions
the orbital change
and the carbon dioxide theory. And to explain all these causes, let us first watch this clip.
The average temperature on Earth has always fluctuated. Millions of years ago, for example, it was on average 8 degrees warmer on Earth. There were also ice ages thousands of years ago, and the average temperature on Earth was 2 degrees lower. How did these temperature differences arise? First, the sun plays a role. When the sun is more active, sunspots can be seen. This can make it a little warmer on Earth, but this only involves 1/10 of a degree of heating. The current global warming can therefore not be explained by a change in the activity of the sun. Volcanoes also play an important role. During a violent eruption, a lot of ash is released into the atmosphere. This ash, if it enters the atmosphere high enough, can remain in the atmosphere for a long time and block the sunlight. For example, the eruption in 1815 of the Indonesian volcano Tambora caused the global temperature to drop sharply, and 1816 was called the year without summer. Although in the short term the volcanoes cause a temperature decrease, volcanoes cause a temperature increase in the long term. Volcanoes emit the greenhouse gas CO2, which causes the temperature to rise. The Earth was once a planet full of ice, but due to a lot of volcanic activity, a lot of CO2 was emitted and the temperature on Earth slowly increased. Milankovitch variables are a final natural influence. Milankovitch thought that the temperature on Earth was influenced by three variables related to the position of the Earth relative to the Sun. In short, the point is that if the northern hemisphere receives less energy from the Sun in the summer, the ice on the North Pole will not melt and an ice age may arise. First, the Sun does not orbit the Sun in a circle, but in an ellipse shape, in which the Sun is not centered. This is called eccentricity. The point where the Earth is closest to the Sun is annually, at the beginning of January. So, in July, the Earth is farthest from the Sun. This is summer in the northern hemisphere. Because of the distance, the Earth receives less energy from the Sun. The ice in the northern hemisphere melts less quickly. This could be the beginning of an ice age. If there is a circular shape, the Earth is closer to the Sun at the beginning of July. Of the Earth's axis relative to the Sun. The Earth's axis has a tilt of 23.5 degrees, but this changes between 22 and 24.5 degrees. The wider the angle, the more the northern hemisphere turns towards the Sun in summer, and the more ice melts. The smaller the angle, the less ice melts in summer, and the greater the chance of an ice age. The obliquity changes approximately every 41,000 years. The third is precession. This is a total movement around the Earth's axis that changes every 26,000 years. Here the first two effects are amplified or limited depending on the eccentricity and obliquity.
And now we are back. Are you ready to have some fun? How about you, Shaina? Are you ready to have some fun?
Yes!
Okay, so now let us start our experiment. As you can see, we have a volcano model here. So what do you think we'll be doing today, Shaina?
I think we'll be doing a volcanic eruption stimulation.
Yes, very good. We will be doing a volcanic eruption stimulation experiment. And for that, we'll only be needing a very few simple ingredients or materials. First, we have the vinegar. Second, we have the baking soda. And lastly, this is just only optional, we could use a red food coloring to really manifest that magma or lava-like effect for our volcano stimulation. And now, let us begin. So the first thing we need to do is pour the vinegar into our volcano model. Just like that. Add more. Next, let's add a few drops of our red food coloring. That's right. Okay, so let us mix that a little bit. And now, are you all ready for the result? So the final result will happen once we add our baking soda. So Shaina, would you like to do first putting the baking soda into our volcano?
Sure.
Okay, let us start. Okay, just put on the baking soda inside the volcano. Whoa! Amazing! See? And wow! See? When we put on our baking soda into the model, it created a bubble-like effect that looks like a volcano erupting, right? So that's what happens, or this is what actually looks like when a volcano is erupting. Now, going back to the volcanic eruptions, how does it actually impact climate change? Well, actually, we have the short-term and long-term effects. So how about you take on the short-term effects, Shaina?
So for the short-term effects, there's a cooling, so volcanic ash and aerosols in the stratosphere reflect sunlight cooling the planet, and then disruption of global circulation patterns. Volcanic ash and aerosols can alter atmospheric circulation, leading to extreme weather events.
Ooh, and now let us talk about the long-term effects of a volcanic eruption. First, we have the greenhouse gas emissions. So actually, volcanic eruptions releases CO2 and CH4, which is carbon dioxide and methane, and other greenhouse gases, which actually contributes to global warming. Next is we have the ocean acidification. So volcanic ash and aerosols can increase ocean acidity that harms marine ecosystem. And lastly, we have the changes in atmospheric chemistry. So with volcanic eruptions, it alters atmospheric chemistry that influences ozone layer depletion and recovery. Actually, there have been few significant moments in history that have been recorded where volcanic eruption actually did affect the climate change or the climate in the whole world or globally. First, we have the 1815 Mount Tambora eruption, which occurred in Indonesia. It caused the year which they called Year Without a Summer in 1816 due to global cooling. And then we have the 1783 Laki Fissure eruption, which occurred in southern Iceland. It led to extreme weather events, and global cooling. And lastly, we have our very own 1991 Mount Pinatubo here in the Philippines. It actually cooled global temperatures and influenced global climate patterns. So that are one of the few volcanic eruptions throughout the history of the world where it actually causes the changes in our global climate patterns. Okay, so that ends our experiment for today in our discussion with the natural causes of climate change. So did you have fun today, China?
Yes.
Okay, so did I. I hope you had fun with us because we had fun with you.
Imagine walking towards school, no vehicles around, and all you can see outside are lush forests, crystal clear waters, and skies filled with the songs of birds. You know, our planet being vibrant and alive. Breathtaking, right? Just a reminder, this world is our home. But our home is changing. Climate change is here and it's not just about warmer days. It's causing wildfires, floods, droughts, and stronger hurricanes. These aren't just headlines. They're happening now, affecting millions of lives. Cost? Of course, human activities. From the forests of the Amazon to the reefs in the Pacific, our ecosystem are under threat. Communities are being displaced. Wildlife is vanishing. And the people who did the least to cause this crisis are suffering the most. But there is hope. Scientists, activists, and everyday people around the world are fighting back. With innovation, passion, and determination, we can create a future where people and nature thrive together. There is always a solution to a problem. You don't have to be a scientist to help.
Solution to burning fossil fuels is the transition to renewable energy sources like solar, wind, and hydropower, which produce little to no carbon dioxide emissions. Aside that this reduces carbon dioxide emissions and pollution, this will help combat climate change and improve air quality. Next, improve energy efficiency in buildings and transportation, and adopt electric vehicles and public transit systems to reduce reliance on fossil fuels. This will further cut fossil fuel use, creating a cleaner and more sustainable future. Solution to deforestation is to prioritize reforestation, which refers to planting new trees, and afforestation, which also refers to establishing forest on non-forested land. This helps to absorb carbon dioxide, restore biodiversity, and combat soil erosion, while protecting existing forests preserves crucial carbon sinks that regulate the climate. Next is to protect existing forests through sustainable land management, support agroforestry, and reduce demand for products linked to deforestation, like palm oil and certain meats. This will help decrease the pressure to clear forests, allowing ecosystems to recover and thrive. Solution for agriculture, mainly in livestock and fertilizers, is to shift to sustainable farming methods, including organic fertilizers, crop rotation, and agroecology to improve soil health and reduce emissions. These practices reduce the need for chemical fertilizers and improve soil health, which minimizes emissions and pollution from agriculture. Supporting plant-based diets and alternative proteins can reduce livestock-related methane emissions, while water-efficient practices help conserve resources. This lowers demand for livestock, thereby reducing methane emissions and decreasing the environmental impact of food production. Solution for industrial processes and waste is to adopt circular economy practices like recycling, reusing, and reducing waste to minimize landfill methane emissions. These practices reduce waste and minimize landfill methane emissions, a potent greenhouse gas, helping to lower overall emissions.
Every small choice we make adds up. Reducing waste, conserving water, using renewable energy, and advocating for policy changes. These actions make a difference. Our planet is worth fighting for. Join us. Educate yourself, take action, and speak up. Together, we can protect our planet for future generations. Let's act now. The time is not just running out, it's the time to start changing the world. Act now because there's no planet B.
Hello everyone, I am Ariel Denise Jaime and I am with
Ren Carlos Sumera, a third year AMT student here at Indiana Aerospace University.
Okay, so I have questions about climate change. So, number one is what does climate change mean to you?
I am feeling it right now sa kainit, and climate change is the negative effects caused by the pollution, na of course caused by humans na itong mga activities, which causes the global warming.
Okay, so what do you think are the causes of climate change?
There are many causes like pollution, smoke pollution, like our garbage. It was mostly the pollution caused by factories and combusting of fuels, which nakadamage sa atmosphere, ozone layers, Earth.
Okay, so as a car enthusiast, would you support switching to an electric car as a way to contribute to reducing climate change?
No. I mean, on an environmental standpoint, dili man solution ng electric cars. Kay the lithium required to power those is to be mined on the output, which is still hurting the earth. I don't know, on paper, siguro it looks good, but when you look at the further into it, kay di gyapon siya maayo.
Okay, last question. How do you think climate change will affect future generations and what role do you play in that?
As we know now, sea levels are rising. Actually, some places, some islands are predicted na after pila ka years kay malumos. Can I some examples for me nga ang next generation di mo suffer. Actually, we're suffering ng mga nikaroon sa di pang buhat sa atong previous nga generations, ilang habits kana ilang illegal tree cutting, mga mining, mga factories. So if it's this bad para sa ato, how much more will it be for our next generation?
Thank you. Hello again. I am with.
I am Miles and I am a third year student and I'm taking EMT in Indiana University.
Okay, so I have questions for Miles. So the first question is, as a student, what can you contribute to lessen climate change?
Well, for me, since I bring a car and if I were to contribute, I would also commute, so I wouldn't be, I wouldn't contribute that much in climate change and don't produce smoke if I wanted to or something.
Okay, for the next question is, as a car enthusiast, would you support switching to an electric car as a way to contribute to reducing climate change?
Honestly speaking, no, I wouldn't, because like Ren said, that making lithium itself requires more fossil, and fossil means you have to mine, and with mining you also use gas and other stuff to mine stuff. Yeah.
Okay, last question. What changes do you think need to happen in the next decade to prevent the worst effects of climate change?
To educate our young generations that climate change is indeed real and that it's something that needs to be addressed more, because we're just living here temporarily and we're actually hurting Mother Earth and everything around it. And yeah.
Thank you. Hello everyone, I am with.
I'm Carl Joshua Roof and I'm a third year college student at Indiana Aerospace University.
So I'm gonna ask him some climate change questions. So number one, what are the causes of climate change?
For me as a student, the causes of this would be improper disposal of garbage around the campus, universities, and especially the parking lot on the calendarias around the areas where they don't manage to use the purpose of Claygo, especially in the canteen, especially in the basically general facilities of the school.
So for the next question, as a student, what can you contribute to lessen the climate change?
For me, since I am living in a dormitory around the campus, I would lessen the uses of electricity on where if unnecessary lights or unnecessary gadgets are plugged in into or devices into the dormitory, I would lessen it and remove it to save climate change.
And lastly, how do you think climate change will affect future generations and what role do you play with that?
That, like I said, Claygo is a big crucial thing around the area here, or basically around the world. It's how you clean up after yourselves and how you respect the surroundings and how you respect on wherever you are. So that's the biggest thing I can say is Claygo.
Thank you. So hi again. So I have one question for the three of you. So in your own words, why is climate change a real problem?
Me? Yeah. No. Well, climate change for me is a real problem because it affects everyone, not just the three of us, also our plants, our crops, our economy, because we need those things para survive ng tanan. Kaya we're, living. And we also need to live para mahappy.
For me, climate change is a real problem because we were designed to live in a natural state sa world, but we polluted it. So it affects health not to us people, maubos ang life expectancy, and how much more pa na sa next generation sa ating pamana nila, di ba?
And for my experience and from what I've felt in the past 3 years of being a college student here is that every year it has gotten more hotter and hotter. It's because of, in my opinion, it's because of this kanang sigigdao ba, kanang of course it creates a greenhouse gases up there sa atmosphere na to. So every single year it has gone hotter and hotter and hotter. So there are more na nagdaob kaysa nag-plant around Philippines, I would say, no, around the Philippines. So that's why it has created a hot environment instead of a very high ba, daghan man ta nagkahoy pero dili gyapon ka cook up sa amount of heat or transfer gikan sa taas ba. So man akong na-base sa experience of climate change.
That would be all. Thank you. Excuse me, miss. Can I ask questions?
Sure.
Okay. So here, how can you help to save the Mother Earth?
So, as for me, I help save Mother Earth by reducing or reusing items whenever possible. I also conserve energy by turning off lights or appliances when they're not in use, and then make sure also I use water wisely and to avoid waste or to avoid waste. Yes.
Okay, thank you. How about you, miss?
For me, I'll contribute by planting trees and support eco-friendly products that are sustainable and less harmful to the environment. And also, I will try to limit plastic use and choose reusable items to reduce pollution and protect natural resources.
Okay. Thank you so much. So for you, miss, for your own words, what is climate change?
For me, climate change refers to long-term shifts and alteration of temperature, precipitation, and weather patterns on Earth.
Okay, miss. Thank you.
Welcome.
Kuya. Can we ask question? Okay. So, how climate change affects the world and the lives of every human?
Climate change.
Yeah.
One, everyday life it could really affect us because what we give to the nature could really affect that really matters to us because mubalik man siya kung unsa tong gihatag. And daily life, like example for today, it's really hot, and kung hot kay grabe ra sa jud kay kainit dayon if mo bagyo kay mo, di ba? So karon mga bagyo ron kay dili na jud siya madali-dali, like so we should really prepare kay of course dito ka ba nga basin unsa ang kanang like kuan ba kurente na nagpitos kay kusog naman siya. So I think that really climate change could really affect our daily life. It could really affect from time to time kay kung naka ba unsa jud dagan sa panahon. Dagan sa
Thank you, kuya. Climate change affects the world and the lives of every human.
Due to climate change, of course, our world and our environment will also change rapidly. It depends also to the what's the English ng malala?
Malala.
So the more it depends on the severity. Thank you so much for that vocabulary. So it depends on the severity of the climate change. So when it's very severe, of course, there is a severe change.
Yeah.
How daw unsa pag-affect? Of course, there will be floods. There will be increase of pollution. Also, the heat index will also increase. It affects also the livelihood of the people. In the case of us, diba, di tagaan mo gawas if init, di tagaan mo gawas also if it's also raining heavily. So we want to have a peaceful a clean environment. So let's promote. No, that's not promote. Let's promote an environment awareness.
Yes. So how about you, ate?
Thank you, ate.
How can you help to save Mother Earth?
So in my own little way, just by picking up garbages. So also as a future educator, we are the example to young children, and by doing so, pero inspired to sila nga this is the best thing to do para ma-help and ma-lessen ang atong mga nasinatikaron sa atong earth.
Yeah.
And even though it's a small progress gani, but it's still a progress. So, later on in the future, we will benefit from it.
Wow, thank you. Perfect.
Good day,
everyone, I am Jasmine Claire Armisen, and I advocate and I am passionate about protecting the environment and encouraging our community to come together to fight climate change. Today, I am honored to talk about how we, as community, can take action to make a real difference. Climate change is something that might happen someday. It's here, right now, affecting our lives, our neighborhoods, and our future. We've all seen the signs. Hotter days, unexpected storms, and floods that put our families and homes at risk. But even though it feels overwhelming, we can face this challenge together and come out stronger. So what can we do to help? First, share knowledge and learn together. The first step is understanding the problem. We need to spread the word and make climate education a priority in our schools and our community. 2. Support local projects. We can team up with local groups and business that take care about environment. This could mean joining tree planting events or activities, starting community gardens, or helping organize recycling drives. These projects don't just help the planet, they also bring people together and strengthen our community. 3. Make simple changes at home. Little actions can go a long way. Recycling, turning off lights when we leave a room, or using less water all add up. Swapping out single-use plastics, using energy-efficient appliances, and carpooling or using public transport are all small habits that make a huge impact over time. 5. Be ready and stay strong. We know climate change is already happening, so it's important to prepare. Our community can create a disaster plans, improve infrastructure, and work with emergency services to handle extreme weather better. This builds trust and ensures we're ready to face challenges head on. Every small step matters. Each tree we plant, each piece of litter we pick up, and each time we switch off and unused light. It all adds up. This isn't just about saving nature. It's about protecting our home and giving future generations a better world. Let's commit to making these changes together. With kindness, hard work, and community spirit, we can make a real difference. Together, we can fight climate change and create a healthier, safer place for everyone. Thank you, and see you next time.